All right. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel. We love comics, and know your eyes are not deceiving you. Back to back days of comic book goodness. Thank you so much for watching this video, whether you're watching it live stream or you're going to be watching it later on in the day, week, month, or year. Whenever you do, I always appreciate that. This is my monthly send-off of 4 books to get graded and sent in to PGX. I have been doing this for over 5 years, where I send in 4 books to PGX. Now, they get a good deal out of it, I get a good deal out of it, and I made sure you guys get a good deal out of it as well. Their end, they get free publicity, because I basically am giving them an advertisement every month. And I get 4 books every month that could be pressed, dry cleaned, graded, of course, signature verification if it needed them, and also adding grader's notes to the back of the book, the back of the slab, which is actually my idea, and you can do yourself. I do it on every one of my graded comics. I like having the grader's notes on the back of the slab. But the deal for you guys, because like I said, I want to make sure this is mutually beneficial for everyone. If you look in the description of this video, if you send in 10 or more books to PGX and use the code We Love Comics Free Press, they will press one of your comics absolutely free. So depending on the book that you're sending in, you know, you could save anywhere from $15 to $35, which is money in your pocket instead of somebody else's. So if you also want to add the Graders Notes, use the code We Love Comics Graders Notes. It's $5 per slab, but they will put the Graders Notes right on the back of the slab, which I love that they do it. I'm so glad they listened to my advice on this one, and they're the only one of the 3 major companies that do that. All right, so with that out of the way, oh, and also look at the description for anything else, because like I put in my my latest quote in my in the comments in the chat section. I also sell comic mystery boxes, and no one's picked one up in probably about 3 years. I do anything from a $25 mystery box up to a $5,000 mystery box. And let me tell you, the $5,000 mystery box, there will be no common books in there. They are all key issues. So check out the link to that if you're interested, and Patreon as well. All right, so let me put this video camera on so you can see what I'm doing. I originally was going to have 4 slabbed books that I was going to be cracking open and sending in to get graded. But a book that came yesterday is a book I just really don't want to wait an extra month to go send in to get graded. I already know what the grade's going to be, but I don't care. I just want to get it graded. If you haven't seen the book, watch the video I did yesterday. And remember, don't go in the video section. Go under the live section, because that's where I do all of my videos for the past few years. So with that being said, all 3 of these books are CBCS books. They are books I either bought already graded, or I got them graded myself. And let me fix the video camera. If I move an inch, the video camera will stop working. Okay, so there we go. So you get to see a wonderful image of me frozen for a couple of seconds. But these books, there's 3 slab books. These are books I either bought already graded, or they were books I sent in back in like 2017 to get graded, before I even knew that grading comics with pressings was a thing. So these could potentially be upgraded. They may or may not, but the prices I paid for them, it's not going to really matter. But I figured they're worth taking the chance on, especially, well, you'll see them, and I'll explain if I just bought them already graded, or I got them graded myself. Yeah, it froze for a second. If this thing is so sensitive, if you even sneeze, the wire will freeze on you. So it should be fixed at this point. All right, so let's get into the first one. This book I bought already graded a couple years ago, so it looks like it could potentially go up a grade if I get it pressed and dry cleaned. If it stays the same, that's perfectly fine. I have many copies of this book. But this is New Mutants 98. It's a CBCS 9.6 with white pages. I paid a grand total of $380.46. I don't see any spine ticks along the spine. I really think a pressing and a dry cleaning, I don't think a dry cleaning is going to help, but hey, you never know. It's worth taking the chance on. And I tell people all the time, no matter what company you get your books sent to get graded, get them pressed and dry cleaned. Because the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, if it gets it, depending on the book, could be thousands of dollars. I think it's worth taking the chance on. Like I said, I bought it already slabbed. So if it stays a 9.6, I'm fine with it. It's worth taking the chance on. If it bumps to a 9.8, that's a great bump. Now, one of the many things I like about PGX, whether you use them or not, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you who to buy with, because like I say, even though I have this deal with PGX, I'm not paid by them to talk about it. I don't have any contract signed, so I'm under no obligation to say anything but my shared experience. I like the fact that PGX is going to be faster. You don't have to spend the extra money to get, the expedited, quicker shipping and still wait months. I wait on average about a month and a half now to get my books back with regular shipping. I like the fact they have in-house pressings and dry cleanings, so you don't have to send your books somewhere else where they get, stored somewhere else's facility. It takes longer. There's more chances of your books potentially being lost or damaged when you're talking about packaging or repackaging, going to one place after another. They also do in-house signature verification. So, again, it's worth it to have everything in one spot. And they're the cheapest of the three major companies. And, knock on wood, if you watch my live unboxings every month or month and a half that I do them, I've been doing this for over 5 years now. Not one case has ever come to me cracked. So the cases may not be the most attractive of the three. I put them second. CGC, I think, has the best looking cases. I'm not a fan of the CBCS cases. So I put PGX's cases second as far as how they look of the major three companies. But as far as sturdiness, I've never had a cracked PGX case. I have two, if not three, CGC cases that cracked when I moved here. And I think maybe one CBCS, I think I bought cracked, I'm not sure. But the PGX ones are sturdy. Alright, so 9.6, potential 9.8 with this. Of course, I can't guarantee it. Just because you get a book pressed does not mean it automatically becomes a 9.8. But I think it's worth taking the chance on, especially paying $380.46. So I'm going to crack that one open and get sent out to be graded. The next one, I bought the day it came out. I bought 2 copies, and I got this one signed by Todd McFarlane at a New York Comic Con back in the 90s. And I got this graded back in, I think, about 2017. And that was before I ever even heard of pressings. So I think this one has a really good potential of being bumped up. So this, and CBCS, to be fair, does signature verification, because I got this signed by Todd McFarlane myself back in the 90s. So this, of course, is Amazing Spider-Man 300. I bought this for cover price, but with the grading fees to get this graded, I paid approximately $31.50 for this book. I don't remember the exact amount that it cost back in 2017, so I'm assuming it was probably around $30, and the book itself was a grand total of $1.50. So, again, even if it stays the same grade, I'm not worried about that. But, like I said, this was before I even knew about pressings, so I think this one could potentially bump up between a 9.4 and a 9.8, because again, I don't see any ticks on the back at all, and with a black background, they're very easy to spot if they're there. So even if it goes to a 9.2, it's still an upgrade, and it's not, to me, it's a no-brainer to not take, to take a chance on it. And I already know the signature is going to be coming back authentic because, like I said, I got it graded myself. So again, for basically $30, I'll be fine with that. All right, next up, this was back when I got my first of, well, I won't say what it is because that'll give it away, but I paid $1,500 for the other book, and this one was almost like a bonus, like a throw-in at the time. But again, I bought this already graded, so I really think a pressing and dry cleaning is just going to bump this one up even further. This is a book I have probably 15 copies of. It's a book I've been telling people for years to get. In my opinion, it's one of the most undervalued key comics in the Bronze Age. And that is Incredible Hulk number 180. I bought this at an 8.0 for $400 because I won the auction. It was Hulk 181 at an 8.0, which I ended up getting that book a couple of months ago because that book I bought already graded. I got it pressed and it came back in 8.5. So I think I paid about $1,900 for both books. So the Hulk 181 cost around $1,500 and change, and it ended up ultimately becoming an 8.5 because I cracked the slab open because I saw it had pressable defects, and it bumped it from an 8.0 to an 8.5. I think the same thing for this. Now, that one was a CGC, but this, of course, is CBCS. It does state on the back that the Marvel stamp is there. They actually, and I like this. I wish more companies would do this. They wrote on the back, Marvel value stamp number 57, 57, Cyclops. So they actually mention the number of the, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, the number of the Marvel's value stamp and which one it was. So this is an 8.0 with white pages. I only paid a total of $400 for this book. You know, I was telling people years ago to get these books because I knew they were going to be worth something. I think in an 8.0, this is probably about a $1,500 book at this point. We'll see what happens. I'm saying because of the pressable defects in this, it could, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens, bump it up to between an 8.5 to a 9.4 with white pages, because it's also got white pages, so I doubt that's going to change. So, again, another book I think is absolutely worthy of getting cracked open to take the chance on. For $400, I got nothing to lose. All right, so last but not least, we got 12 people watching. 5 of you hit the like button, so thank you for that. 13 people now. All right, so the last book, if you watched my video yesterday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you didn't, you're about to. It's a Grail that I never thought I would own. To protect this, I put it in a bag and board, of course. Double boarded it. I put it into one of the top loaders, and then I put that into another top loader, so this thing ain't going anywhere. But first time I've ever owned this book. It's not in the best condition. I already know what the grade is. Well, what it's going to be. But to me, this is a no-brainer. That, of course, is Hulk number 1. This is the most expensive meal from either a rodent or bugs. Because the first 6 pages have been chewed out over here. It got chewed out over here through the entire book, but it is complete. The top staple is intact, and to me, I saw, if you look, a page of this book sold on eBay for over $900. So I ended up, I won it after eBay charges taxes, because I hate when they do that. The total cost was $3,322.35. But if you remember yesterday, if you watched the video, I was telling my mother about it because she actually lent me the money to be able to buy this, because otherwise I would have missed the opportunity. But she said, just pay me I borrowed $2,800 from her to pay for this, and my wife was kind enough to pay for the rest. And she said, take $1,000 off and consider that your birthday and Christmas present, which I'm perfectly fine with. So, out of my own pocket, and that's why I'm going to be doing an auction soon, because I have to repay that, because luckily my mother does not charge interest, and I'm very grateful of that. I will pay $2,322.35 for a Hulk #1. There is an auction going on right now on eBay for a CGC 0.5 that is currently at $3,900 with about 10 hours remaining, and that's where most of the bids are going to happen towards the end. So it's already got, I think, like 27 bids, and the current price last time I checked was $3,900 for a CGC 0.5 Incredible Hulk #1. So for me, obviously this is going to come back 0.5 grade, but complete, and I would say creamed off-white pages. It's going to vary because it may even be cream to white pages, but I think it'll be more cream to off-white, or maybe just off-white, because I'm not really sure what they're going to grade this as far as paper quality, but we'll find out. So this one has been, that bug basically took probably about $15,000 worth of paper out of this comic. So that was probably the most expensive meal that bug or bugs ever ate in their life, because by the look of the part that's intact, this book looked like it would have easily, at least, if everything would have stayed the same and the bugs never touched it, probably would have been a 5.0. 5.0 on eBay selling for $25,000 to $35,000 range. So, probably more expensive meal than any of us have ever had. But hey, it is what it is. The good thing about it is, if this would have been intact and would have been around the 5.0, there would be no way I would have been getting it for that price, and I would have missed out on it. So hey, low grade is better than no grade, I always say. Alright, so those are the 4 books. If you have books that you bought already graded, or you got books that you sent in to get graded that you didn't get pressed, look at them. See if you think a pressing and dry cleaning can help them. Because if you have, for example, a comic that let's say a comic that's a 5.0, and you notice there's rippling, wavy lines across the comic book that do not break color, you can press that out, and that 5 can become a 6, maybe a 6.5, maybe even a 7. So depending on the problems, you can get some huge bumps with an upgrade from pressing. Now, of course, there is no guarantee, and it also depends on who you get your books pressed with, because I've seen videos out there where people sent their comic, they cracked it open, sent it to somebody to get it pressed, and the book came out lower than what they originally had it slabbed for. So be very careful who you send your books to get pressed with. In my opinion, PGX, I did send some to one of my subscribers back in the days when I was living in New York, and I think he did a very good job. I don't remember his name because this was about 7 years ago, and they're probably not subscribed to me anymore. But PGX's pressings are amazing in my opinion. So even if you don't want to get your books pressed by graded by PGX, you can send books there just to get them pressed, and they're going to be cheaper, and they don't use the heat to get them pressed. I forget what they do, but they do another technique where they're not using like one of those steam pressing things you've seen people use, and they do a fantastic job. And some of my comics bumped up a grade and a half higher than what I thought they'd be. But again, it depends on the problems. If it's color break increases, you can't help it. If it's water stains, it's not going to help it. But it can help the wrinkles. It can help spine rolls, depending on how severe the spine roll is. But of course, the Hulk 1, there's no sense of getting that pressed, and I guarantee you they will not press it, because you can't improve that book no matter what you do. It's going to be a 0.5. So it's not going to be like the surprise of a book that I was incredibly shocked with finding out was not a 0.5 because the cover that the seller thought could have been fake ended up being genuine. And I am still blown away by that one because, again, I still have the original video where I unboxed that video. It was a Golden Age book. If you haven't seen the video, watch it. Where I was like, if this is a replica cover, this thing, they went all out. Now, it ended up being a restored cover because it had a lot of color touch and it was trimmed. But it was a real cover. It was not a fake. So, obviously, the seller was not the original owner and didn't know. And that's why it pays to get books graded. Because, you know, that's a needle in a haystack situation. But, you know, sometimes you do find that needle. So, those are the 4 books. Half of you hit the like button, so thank you for that. Let's do today's surprise subscriber shout-out. Since I only have 3 people in the chat, I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to pick all 3 of you. GT Key Comic, always good to see you. Jordan Porter also, and Rudy Gonzalez. All 3 of you are going to be today's surprise subscriber shout-outs. Obviously, well, you may not know, but you don't have to be a subscriber to be in the surprise subscriber shout-out. All you have to do is be in the chat during the live stream. And if you are picked, which is all 3 of you, you can put your link to your YouTube channel if you have them. If you don't, you can put a link to your social network, like Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. And if you don't have that, and you sell something on, you know, eBay or some other auction site, and you want to share a link to that, you can as well. Just keep in mind always, I verify all links. So if you hit a link in the comment section, it will not show up until I approve it. So this way I know it's going to the place that the people say it is. You don't even, if you have a YouTube video and you sell toys or you talk about cars, it doesn't have to be comics, just as long as it's something that's not inappropriate for, you know, younger viewers or people that were not expecting it. So if you see a link in the comment section, it means I approved it. So go give them the support. Go check them out. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So what I'm going to be doing is, to protect them further, I'm going to crack these out myself. I highly recommend, if you are ever sending your slab books to get re-slabbed, even if it's the same or different company, crack them open yourself. Because nobody is going to be as careful with your books as yourself. I would never leave it in the hands of another company from some stranger you don't know who has no attachment to your book and probably could care less what happens. If they crack it and damage it, you're the one that suffers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack these open. I'm going to cut these open, but I'm going to leave the whole thing together. Like, I'm going to, like, just close it together and put some tape around it, because that will keep these, you know, from bending and give them more support. So it might cost a little bit more for the shipping, but considering the books I'm going to be sending in, I think it's absolutely worth it to make sure this one is shipped in a very secure box. So what I recommend, or at least what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to crack these open, cut this out of the protective lining, you know, the inner lining of the book, but then I'm going to leave it that way, and I'm going to close this cracked open slab over it again and tape it so it can't move, so this way it gives it support, and they can easily just lift it off and grade the books. So whether you do that or not is up to you. Let me know in the comments section what you think about the books that I'm sending in. Do you think it's worth taking the chance? Would you do it if you had them, especially for the prices I paid for these? Because a lot of these books, the 3 books that I was talking about, I bought years ago, over 6 years ago. And the Amazing Spider-Man 300, I bought the day it came out, but I got it graded back, I think, around 2017, when I didn't even know about pressing comics as a thing. So let's see what kind of bumps we get in the upgrades. If they don't and they stay the same, hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta take risks in life and take the chance. So that's what we're gonna do. Corey says, came in late, but hope all is well. Things are going decent. I can't complain. You know, as they say, no news is bad news. So as usual, if you, where is it? There we go. If you look on the screen right now, or in a moment, because it's not responding, well, there we go. That is another one of the AI art pieces that I've created, because every piece I do now for the thumbnails is my own creation from AI art. So I'd love to hear what you think about it. It's not comic book related, as you could see, but I wanted to try something different, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. So thank you for the 15 people that watched. Thank you to the 9 people that hit the like button, and thank you to all 4 that were in the live chat. Love you all. Can't wait for these to come back and see what the grades are. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and do not forget, it is not you, it is not I, it's We Love Comics. Check out the description for links to any of the discount codes that I offer, and try one of my mystery boxes. If you do a live unboxing on your video, I will subscribe to your channel, like your video, and I will share it on my channel to help potentially get you some more views.